Esquire with the super chat says, "Y'all checking out season 3 of the Wu series? I need to get caught up, man. I haven't seen any of it. I saw like the first 2 episodes of season 1. I'm gonna have to really do some binge watching
I
on that.
can't front. I haven't watched really any of it. I've been got some personal
It's hard for
issues.
me to watch a biopic on Wu Tang. I think, and no disrespect on anybody who's you know involved. I would say the same thing about Tribe and stuff too. I'd rather a actual documentary than a biopic. You know what I'm saying? I'm more of a documentary fan than
I'm
I
more of
am
a
bio.
documentary fan too, but also too, it's like when you do it this way, a lot of their inner workings is shrouded in secrecy, Mike.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much of this is being revealed. I don't know how much I don't know how much they contribute. You know what I'm saying? Like in terms of like how these storylines and all this stuff goes, is like I hate to say it like this. Is this something the RZA has his hands on, or does the whole clan have their hands on it?
Well, I think it's nearly impossible for all 8 of them to really have
But they can give
hands
their
on.
input though.
Yeah.
But who's making the final decisions on like how these storylines are going to give it the real? Because usually that's usually the RZA in those situations. And if
Well,
and if
that's the
that's it,
problematic part of having a group with a leader in it. And inevitably, you're going to have a group that
well,
has a leader.
when
But
when your leader
ultimately,
has
when the
more money than
story is
everybody else
told,
except for Method Man, that would be the problem. But
what's up?
whatever. Said no, when your leader has like extremely like more money than everybody else except for Method Man, that would be the problem. But okay,
Well, yeah, I understand. But,
yeah,
it's
shit
like
about money.
normally in these situations, and I said this when the whole Chuck D and Flav thing was going on, it becomes problematic when you do, even if you have a great group leader, it's almost like everybody has their individual lives and their individual perspectives, and it feels like it's one voice speaking for the whole collective. And sometimes that one voice can, not get it all the way right,
When what's a great leader to you though? Because here's my thing. Like this is what I mean about how like the
I don't
totality
know
of these.
anymore, man. After this
Right.
Quavo thing, I don't know.
Right. Like, but listen to what I mean about even the totality. Ooh, this Quavo thing. What do you, Mike? Pause. What do you mean when you say this Quavo
I
thing? What
mean,
do you mean?
after how all of this has transpired, I don't know. And I've held Quavo as one of the best group leaders in hip hop. And after,
So the
what
unfolding and the information about these circumstances makes you feel differently now, doesn't it?
it's hard to argue at this point. It's like,
You
okay,
feel
so
like
like you said, what makes somebody a great group leader in hip hop? I mean,
well,
is it is
here's
it
what
the
I'm trying to.
Q-tip way of doing things? Because even some of his leadership things didn't really work out in the dynamic of the group either. I mean, when you look at then you have a group like De La that clearly doesn't have a leader, and they stay together. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
I think you kind of are making some of my points for me.
I don't
Think about it.
know.
You just said Daylight didn't have no group leader, but they stayed together. How'd it go for Tribe with having Q-Tip as a group leader?
Yeah.
How's this whole how? Think about this, Mike. Outside of the original run, how great has RZA been as a leader of Wu Tang Clan? And how great has he been outside of the actual music side of the run? Because this is what I was trying to say is like, well, if we're doing the totality about all things, Mike, M, M got people around him eating good. That's what I'm talking about being a leader. It's like, no, 50 eating good. D12 straight, Royce straight. Like everybody input on, like you can look at like them and like you can see their footprints in the sand. It's like when I look at the Wu Tang Clan, who was the greatest rap group of all time. Okay, why financially, if he's such a great leader and they made all these great records and they're everything that we say they are, why are they not all in the place that he's in if he's such a great leader?
I think there's a lot of dynamics to that.
I can tell you how the dynamics go. He took care of himself personally. He took care of them musically. That's not great leadership because nobody wants to sit at a table with somebody who's sitting in a gold encrusted chair in red velvet while they're just sitting in regular wood chairs. Don't nobody want to sit at no table like that.
But it could be argued that he gave everyone in the group that opportunity to be a part of the group in that dynamic. You know what I mean? And they all did get a crack at an individual record deal outside of Wu Tang.
That was his idea.
Yeah, and it could be argued that again, it's Some people might not have maximized on their opportunity. Not saying they didn't. I'm just playing devil's advocate here.
No. And that's very, very true too. People got to take advantage of the moment. You know what I'm saying? But also too, this is what I mean. Like, this is what I mean.
Because all these guys are legends based on the fact that
If Puff,
he
like, how
created
about
this.
Mike? If Puff is managing Wu-Tang, they releasing Ice Cream, not Glaciers of Ice. You feel what I'm saying? How great of a leader is he? You feel me? Like,
Well,
Ice Cream
yeah.
getting released instead of Glaciers of Ice first. You know that, right? You feel what I'm saying? So how much does he really like help? Like when you start looking at the stuff and how the business really goes. Because I'm telling you what, if Ice Cream gets released first, because you got to think, this is the summer of '95. This is I'll Be There For You out with Method Man. And this is a year after Method Man going platinum. Well, Method Man on that hook going first, instead of Glaciers of Ice and Criminology and then Ice Cream, they literally released Glaciers of Ice and Criminology and then Ice Cream. Like Ice Cream, the third single. It's like, no, that's not necessarily great leadership. Because
Where was
it's like,
Incarcerated Scarfaces?
Incarcerated Scarfaces is the fourth single off the Purple tape, Mike.
That should have been the first single, in my opinion. It's
Personally,
Raekwon's
if you're kicking a solo album
Yeah.
off, Incarcerated Scarfaces is your A side, and Ice Cream is your B side that turns into your A side when people hear your A side. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
But Mike, that's the difference between going double platinum and selling 700,000 units and the trajectory of Chef's career being different. You feel
Well,
what I'm
I
saying?
do think that there's also a certain thing and I think RZA and Q-Tip both did this, like where you're probably taking on so much that you can't be the best leader that you can be. He did produce the whole albums too, you know what I mean? Like, so to do all of those things and then have to do basically Puff's job and, you know, hands-on beat making, producing jobs, it could be a lot. You know what I'm saying? And
I
the
think
fact
that
that
is I think that's a very fair and astute observation by you. And thank you for like sharing that, because that does give some more credence to it. Because Puff damn sure in there laying down tracks like RZA is beat after beat. So
right. So he was able to kind of do more of the A&R job, but maybe that
But Mike,
delegating
what
is
listen to what I'm
what,
saying.
can make someone a better leader in that sense.
Now what I would quibble back with you about is that, well, Mike, it's 1995, and quite frankly, Tikal got released December of '94. It's the summer of '95, and it's going platinum like right now. Meth is all over the radio with Mary J. Blige. It don't take like, you know what I'm saying?
Do
It's
you
like,
think? I'm play devil's advocate again.
maybe
Do
Ray
you
didn't want
think
that, but
I was
maybe
gonna
Ray
say-
didn't want that. But this is
Yeah.
this is what I'm saying about Puff. Well, Biggie wanted to release Machine Gun Funk as a single, and as much as I love Machine Gun Funk, the best thing that ever happened to Big was that Puff told him, "Let's go get this money first, Playboy. So we gonna drop Juicy." And Mike never got to Machine Gun Funk. Went and used Warning after that with the Walk On By sample, which was another stroke of genius. Never got back to Machine Gun Funk, and Big probably never asked, because once he seen Juicy, he understood.
I think there's a trust though, as far as like doing that job that Puff had with Big, because he was more experienced in that world, coming off of being the A&R Uptown and all of these things, and he had successes that he could point to and say, listen, you're great at what you do, but I know what I'm talking about. Whereas I feel like maybe in RZA's position, all of the guys felt
More
like
pushback.
they felt like they were group members. Like, nigga, we did this together. You know what I mean? Like, we got some input here too. We're in a group together. Puff and Big weren't in a group together.
Right.
It's a little different dynamic too. It's almost like, we talk about who could coach somebody that's as experienced as Tom Brady. You can't coach that person.
Can't coach
But
him.
if somebody like Belichick comes around, he can tell this man things that most people can't.
No, I understand that.
You know what I mean? So I think there's a
this-
little bit of that
I'm-
going on too.
I think no. I like both of our stances, because I think this is like one of those very open-ended conversations that we have objectively about hip hop. Where no, I hear your side. I do.
I really
understand
don't
what it is.
within a group, and see, that's the problematic thing about having a group leader, where maybe the leader of a group might need to come from the outside of that group.
Maybe, Mike, because it's like, even when all respect to even Brooklyn Zoo, Mike, I would like, hindsight, me as a businessman. No, I'd really shimmy y'all first. It's a bigger record. It's a bigger record.
I think
It
you
has
can
more
go either
appeal
way.
to it. Mike, they released Bring the Plane and Release Your Delf before I'll Be There For You came out. Like I can feel you on Bring the Pain, but release your Delph.
Nah, that shouldn't have happened. That shouldn't.
You feel me? So I'm just pointing out stuff about the early run, Mike. I mean, why, Mike? Why is Daytona 500 the first single off Iron Man instead of All That I Got Is You with Mary J. Blige?
Yeah, that should have been the first thing. I think the mentality was this: we got a Wu-Tang brand. We got to hit them with a street record and then the radio record. I mean, that's all I'm seeing from like you said, Glaciers.
But they was hitting them with two street records before they would do the radio record. By then, the buzz, Mike.
Yeah.
The sales. The Purple Tape only did 700,000 units the first year, like in the first calendar year. Do not tell me that if Ice Cream gets released first, that shit is not double platinum.
No, you're right.
Especially now that I talked to Glove and I understand like how that room really works a little bit better now. And having sat in some rooms in myself, just not as big with more notarized artists, it's like, oh no, fuck no. That's the difference, but literally between going gold and going double platinum. So it's like, no, that's like that's the difference between getting knocked out in the second round of playoffs, Mike, and going to the finals.
It sounds like they were trying to stay on brand with the first singles. I think the fact that 36 Chambers was so grimy, everybody was afraid of losing that edge by putting out something that was, less grimy than that first. You know what I mean?
Cream was the third single on there. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. I was like, I don't know. Y'all releasing chest boxing over Cream? It's like, I don't know. I don't know what the God's thinking.
Jay Short, I would love to ask him, man. Those are some conversations love to have. Jay Short with the Super Chat says, did you hear Meek Mill is planning to release 4 albums this year? I think he needs to chill and release quality. He's losing credibility with all this mid. I don't think he's going to release 4 albums. That's one of those I'll believe it when I see it things. I mean, ain't nobody releasing no albums right now. That's why we're having small talk about all kind of stuff.
Well, hold on. Well, so can we kind of transition into that?
Yeah. Let me finish these Super Chats real quick, and then, we'll go into that and get up out of here. Hassan Sykes with the Super Chat says, the funny thing was seeing Mike Geronimo with the black shiny leather suit collaborating with Puff. Yeah, everybody was doing it. People could talk about Mace all they want. The Mace talk is similar to the MC Hammer talk back in the day. Niggas was mad because they weren't in that spot. And we see now everybody's doing all kind of brand deals with corporations. And they knocked Hammer for it, called him a sellout, whatever. But as soon as the door got opened up for everybody else to do the same thing, they ran through it. KC1 with the Super Chat says, so I watched the new episode, and it shows the impact of the flood on Deck's album. I would love to see that. Okay. They make it sound like he was coming out second after Meth. Jay Short with the $50 Super Chat. Appreciate the love, man. He said, I think Puff's getting a bad rap. A lot of us enjoy hip-hop, but couldn't relate fully to the hustle/street image or the weed head chakra image. I'm sorry. Yeah, chakra image of a lot of the rappers. Puff was the business person and a CEO. And as a college student, that related to a lot of us.
It's very well said.
I agree, man. I think that and Puff, what he also did to kind of piggyback on that, I think that was the first time we saw somebody who wasn't a rapper first actually go out there and make a rap album and be successful at it.
He understood that being a star was just as important as being a rapper.
Yeah, he kind of showed you that, and I say this respectfully, if you really want to do this, anybody could go out there and rap. I think Birdman's been chasing what Puff was able to do for a long time.
You got any more Super Chats? Because I have a couple comments I want to make, about just like...
Yeah. Let me get through them real quick. Eric Terrell with the Super Chat says, Coop, you want Puff to have a Wu-Tang dancing.
Old Dirty Bastard used to be a break dancer.
LP with the Super Chat says, RIP to the great True Goy. De La Soul was ahead of their time and influenced a lot of our greats. Tribe, Roots, Wu, Odyssey. And Oz is, he said Odyssey of Oz is one of the best songs. I thought he said Odyssey. Oddly of O's is one of their best songs. I love that record too. De La Soul is dead. I can't wait to stream it. I'm gonna go buy the vinyl too. Esquire with the Super Chat says, check out the Mics of Men doc on Showtime. RZA released all of the members from their production deals when he didn't have to. Members sometimes had creative disagreements, but he was a solid leader. I saw that documentary too. My only thing was I don't like how RZA's brother seemed to have taken the brunt of everybody's anger when it was a collective effort. It felt like his brother was getting thrown under the bus. You know what I'm saying?
No. I want people to understand what I'm saying when I'm talking about the selection. I'm not saying pick the better song. I'm saying pick the bigger record. I don't think Shimmy Shimmy Y'all is fucking with Brooklyn Zoo. I'm telling you, for the masses, bigger record. Ice Cream.
Do you think the video has something to do with that, though? Do you think the Shimmy Shimmy video?
Absolutely, the visual aid of Old Dirty Bastard. As opposed to him being in a hallway in Brooklyn rhyming crazy. Yes. This is what I'm saying. Glaciers of Ice, I like Glaciers of Ice more than I like Ice Cream. I think it's actually one of the few records on that album better than Ice Cream. Would I release it over Ice Cream? No, I would not. No, I would not.
I think RZA might have been.
Mike, you talk about the beat the Ice Cream. I like the beat the Glaciers of Ice better.
Glaciers of Ice is crazy.
And it's not even a question of the bar work.
I think RZA was giving the group members input that normally
maybe they didn't take. Maybe they didn't take his input. Is that a possibility?
Possibly. You know what I mean? And I think with them being in a group together, that creates a different dynamic. Like, nigga, you're not gonna tell me what to do, type of thing. You know? Because we seen that even on. We saw that even on the show, like when Method Man and You God and all. Yeah, it was like you could tell the egos and stuff were there, and RZA probably was like, "I'm gonna give them some leeway," you know.
Well, let's be clear: the egos was always Meth and Ray. You hear that on the interlude to Enter the Wu-Tang during the interview where Ray interrupts Meth because Meth's doing all the talking. You see it again on the show, Mike. You see it on Takal on Meth vs. Chef. They're definitely the two guys with the egos.
One of the funniest scenes ever is on the show when Method Man is just talking crazy on the plane. He's like, "Yo, man, you could walk out the projects, man. You might get your head blown off with a." Ghostface like, "Man, shut up with all that bullshit." Like, nigga, what are you talking about?
They wild. They're just young.
He like, "Man, y'all niggas been on me all day." He was like, "Man, I'm out here doing all the press runs and yada yada." Method Man's a star. I mean,
but early on.
But that was
always Ray's thing. Ray was always like, "No, I'm the star too, nigga." That was always the thing. That's why Meth vs. Chef is on Takal, because Ray wasn't with the shit like everybody else. I think everybody else kind of acquiesced in the Meth being the star, except for ODB and Ray. And who did the albums came out next? ODB and Ray.
Ray is a street star, definitely. Hassan Sykes with the super chat says, "How do y'all feel about Where Was Heaven by Wu Signakick?" Oh, that shit was dope.
It was cool.